Okay, we're going to have a quick look at inheritance and polymorphism now. We'll do them both together, although they're two separate concepts in the IB. They're very, very related. So let's jump straight back into our example in Eclipse. If you remember, we had a human being class, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make two classes, a little bit more specific, which inherit from human being. I'm going to make a teacher class, and I'm also going to make a student class. Okay, now student, I'm just going to immediately put, well, okay, first of all, in my tester, I'm going to get rid of all the extra stuff here, and I'll just create a human being. There we go, get rid of all that. So we've got one human being who is called H. There we go. And I'm also going to make, because I've just created the student class, I'm going to make a student who's called S. Remember, the student class doesn't have anything in it at the minute, so if I say S dot, the only things that I get are things which are present in every Java class, and actually they're inherited from a class which is called object, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. At the minute, it's got nothing much inside it, just the things that every Java class has. However, as you know, if I go into student and I add either, a field, an instance variable like public favorite class, give it a type, then from that point onwards it will appear in my tester class. So I can say s dot and I'll get favorite class here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to change the student so that he extends human being. So human being has a lot of things in it that we programmed already, and if I go into my tester class now and I ask it what student has, suddenly I have all of the things that human being has as well. I can do all of these things. Not only can I, what did I program into student? I can't remember, favorite class. So not only do I have a favorite class in there, at the very top, but I also have all of the other things that that a human being has. This can be extremely useful because you can have one class which is the superclass and a lot of subclasses which inherit from it, and they automatically receive all of the code and all of the public parts of the code, behaviors and state, which are in the superclass. So you don't have to program things twice, and it's very good from the point of view of maintenance as well, because it means that you don't have to change code if it can only change in one place. So how that might look is you would, if you're going to draw that, you would obviously have a human being class and an arrow below that, and below that you would have student. Now, important that you get that arrow pointing in the right direction. Okay? Even though the things travel down from human being into student, the student points up because it is the student that extends the human being class. Okay. Back to Java. Now, the other class that I have, teacher, I'm also going to extend human being with. And I'm going to add something different in there, because a teacher, let's say int number of classes, because a teacher has number of classes he teaches as well. Actually, it's not a good example because so does a student. Let's put salary inside there. Now remember, if I don't say anything, if I don't put this specifically, it is public. So if I leave this, if I leave that modifier, if I leave it out, it's public. So I'm just going to show you that now by creating a new teacher. So call T. you can see his salary. So you can see him from outside the class, so therefore that is by default public. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to show you quickly that because these classes both extend human being, but they have their own things which they add in. A student is a human being, and a teacher is also a human being, so therefore it's possible for a student to be defined or declared as a human being. You see, that doesn't give me an error, but it will restrict the things that I can do with the student. So now that I've got my student defined as a human being, which is more general, I no longer have access to the student-specific things, such as his favorite class. I can no longer find his favorite class on that list. See, it's gone. However, if I change him back to being a student, then I do have access to it. It appears up there. Now, situations in which this might be useful is if you have for example, a method in another class, and you're not sure whether that method is going to be passed a student, a teacher, a parent, or whatever. You can define a method which just basically says void add friend human h, and then you can do whatever code you want here. And what this will do, void add friend human being. Okay. What this will do is it will receive a human being, which could be either, at this point, it could either be a teacher or a student, and it will add them to the friend list. So that's just one potential use of generalizing, either i.e. declaring something as the superclass, the most general one, instead of as the subclass, which is either teacher or student. And I mean, again, I could go a stage further. I could have, a different type of student. I could say new class. I could say high school student. And that high school student has a couple of other things. Maybe he has a public graduation year, for example. Like, let's just call it int for now. Graduation year. And then if I create, in my tester class, if I create a new high school student, or if I define H as being a high school student, it's not going to work, so I don't have an instructor. Let's just make a new one. High school student, and we'll call this guy HS equals new HS student. Okay, and I've done something wrong. What's it called? HS student, HS equals new HS student. There we go. Okay, now again, if I look at him, he has, at the minute, it doesn't extend anything. But if I extend student, then the HS student receives everything from teacher, everything from human being, all of this stuff down here. Hang on a second, he's got a graduation year.